Welcome to the 2020 AmeriCorps Indian Tribes Grant Overview. This presentation is intended to provide an overview of the FY 2020 Notice of Funding Opportunity for Indian Tribal Grants. Speaking is Brittany Tonning, the Training Manager for AmeriCorps State and National. Here you can see the CNCS mission is to improve lives, strengthen communities, and foster civic engagement through service and volunteering. AmeriCorps State and National engages in strategic grant making to support organizations that see service as a solution to local and national challenges and create powerful member experiences that result in lifelong civic engagement. AmeriCorps grants are awarded to eligible organizations proposing to engage AmeriCorps members in evidence-based or evidence-informed interventions and practices to strengthen communities. An AmeriCorps member is an individual who engages in community service through an approved national service position. During this presentation, participants will be given a couple of examples of current AmeriCorps tribal programs, gain an understanding of the Notice of Funding Opportunity for this competition, and be directed to applicant resources. We often use acronyms in our daily language here at AmeriCorps State and National. Here are a couple examples that we will be using throughout this presentation. ASN refers to AmeriCorps State and National. CNCS is the Corporation for National and Community Service. And finally, NOFO, which is the Notice of Funding Opportunity. Each year, 1% of AmeriCorps funding is set aside specifically for federally recognized Indian tribes. AmeriCorps tribal grants are awarded to eligible tribes and tribal organizations, again proposing to engage AmeriCorps members in evidence-based or evidence-informed interventions to strengthen communities. AmeriCorps grants provide partial funding to support AmeriCorps projects and programs. Grant recipients must contribute cash or in-kind match funds through these types of grants. Only federally recognized Indian tribes and tribal organizations controlled, sanctioned, or chartered by Indian tribes are eligible to apply to this competition. An entity applying on behalf of a federally recognized tribe or multiple specific federally recognized tribes must submit a sanctioning resolution applicable for the entirety of the period of performance that the applicant is applying for, adopted by the tribal council of each Indian tribe. The resolution must identify the entity by name as a tribal organization and indicate whether it is controlled, sanctioned, or chartered by an Indian tribe. It must authorize the entity to go by the legal applicant and act on behalf of and include the Indian tribes in a CNCS application for the purpose of conducting the activities and providing the services described in the application. We wanted to take this opportunity during this presentation to highlight two of ASN's, AmeriCorps State and National's, tribal grantee programs. First up is Sitting Bull College GED AmeriCorps program. The AmeriCorps members in this program provide GED tutoring and testing services to tribal members who do not have a high school diploma or equivalency, resulting in an increased number of residents who pass the GED exam and obtain their GED. This program has successfully aided over 100 tribal members to obtain their GED. The program serves in the 8 communities of the Standing Rock Sioux Nation. Many of the members who are in this program utilize their education award to enroll in Sitting Bull College or to obtain employment. And finally, the program has developed relationships with the North Dakota Commission and the U.S. Department of Education to share best practices and training opportunities. The second program we wanted to highlight is the San Pasqual Tribal AmeriCorps Mentoring Program. AmeriCorps members mentor tribal K-12 students attending school in the Palma Valley Centered Unified School District during out-of-time school at the San Pasqual Education Center. AmeriCorps members provide guidance and support to students to increase their school attendance, improve their behavior, to reduce discipline referrals, and to mitigate opportunities for the youth to engage in risky activities. San Pasqual program is one of the longest standing tribal AmeriCorps programs who consistently meet retention and performance measurement standards. San Pasqual has a high level of sustainability in the community, tribal council, and other stakeholder support. Program data shows that youth value the interaction with their mentors, and youth are enrolled and maintain enrollment in the program throughout the school year, and that youth are progressing in academics. So we always like to highlight programs where we can, but let's go ahead and dive into the 2020 AmeriCorps Tribal NOFO. So here is just a really quick outline of the points that we're going to be covering in order to provide you an overview of the Tribal NOFO. Again, that's Notice of Funding Opportunity, which includes where to access the NOFO, important dates, funding priorities, selection criteria, and cost per MSY. The Notice of Funding is soliciting for program grants and planning grants. We have provided the website here, which you can see the address, but you can also find it on our website at nationalservice.gov by navigating to the Grants and Funding Opportunities page within AmeriCorps State National. The NOFO page also provides additional links and guidance for the mandatory supplemental guidance, application instructions, performance measure instructions, and then finally at the bottom of that page, we have a section for training and technical assistance, which includes this presentation, a presentation on performance measures and how to select those in eGrants, and finally information regarding a live call that we will be doing on April 1st. The ASN 2020 funding priorities for this competition include economic opportunity, which is used to increase economic opportunities for communities by preparing people for the workforce, education, improving student academic performances in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and/or serving students who attend the Bureau of Indian Education schools, Healthy Futures, which works to reduce and/or prevent prescription drug and opioid abuse, and finally, veterans and military families, to positively impact the quality of life of veterans and improve military family strength. Within the application, applicants are asked to complete the following materials: the standard 424 face sheet, narratives, which include the executive summary, program design, organizational capability, cost effectiveness and budget adequacy, and evaluation plan if it's applicable. Additionally, you'll be asked to complete a logic model, a standard 424 budget, performance measures, and at the end, you'll be asked to authorize and provide assurances and certifications for your application. I wanted to dedicate a whole slide here to page limits. Applications must not exceed 10 double-spaced pages for the narratives. Parts of your application that count towards the page limit include the face sheet, the 424 face sheet, the executive summary, program design, organizational capability, and the cost effectiveness and budget adequacy narratives. The application page limits do not include the budget, performance measures, or any required additional documents. Within that page limit summary, we do also have the logic model. The logic model may not exceed 3 pages when printed with the application form from the review tab in the CNCS web-based management system. So that's our eGrants system. I want to note that the length of the application as a word processing document, so something you might be working within, could very well differ from the length of the document printed out through eGrants, through our web-based management system. So CNCS strongly encourages applicants to print out the application from the Review and Submit tab within eGrants prior to submission in order to confirm that the application does not exceed the page limit. Because again, we've seen that that sometimes differs from the Word document to what is submitted through eGrants. So just double check that, again, by going to the Review and Submit tab and printing that out so you can do that before you submit. I also want to note that reviewers will not consider any material that is over the page limit. Even if eGrants allows you to enter and submit additional text beyond the limits, we are under strict requirements that we cannot review anything beyond that 10 pages for the grant narrative, the 3 pages for the logic model, and then if your grant is a planning grant, we're restricted to that 7-page limit. So that's not even looked at if it's submitted. Each applicant must describe a project that will deploy AmeriCorps members effectively to solve a significant community problem. CNCS urges applicants to submit high-quality applications that carefully follow the guidance in this NOFO and in the application instructions. The quality of an application will be an important factor in determining whether an organization will receive funding. The review criteria categories are consistent across all applications, while subcategories are different for planning grants as they do not have members or MSY. The review categories, again, that are consistent include the executive summary, which is worth 0%, program design, which is worth 50%, organizational capability, 25%, and then finally cost effectiveness and budget adequacy, which is worth 25% of the points. The CNCS cost per MSY is determined by dividing the CNCS share of the budgeted grant cost by the number of MSYs requested. It does not include childcare or the value of the education award a member may earn. The maximum amount an applicant may request from CNCS per MSY is determined on an annual basis. So if you applied last year, this number looks different. This year, the standard maximum cost per MSY for cost reimbursement tribal grantees is listed here as $15,479. The NOFO also states that cost reimbursement programs operating in rural communities, which is defined in the mandatory supplemental guidance, and cost reimbursement programs that recruit Opportunity Youth as AmeriCorps members may request up to $15,647 per MSY for the AmeriCorps members who will be serving in rural areas or are Opportunity Youth. At its discretion, CNCS may award a grant with a cost per MSY at a higher level than is published in this notice. CNCS, however, will not award a grant with a cost per MSY that exceeds $19,500. I also want to note this other double star, and again, all of this information is on page 11 in the NOFO, but this other double star related to professional core programs. CNCS requires these programs to cover the operating expenses associated with the AmeriCorps program through non-CNCS resources. So CNCS will only consider operating funds of up to $1,000 per member service year if an applicant is able to demonstrate significant organizational financial need based on the materials reviewed by the Office of Grants Management / Grants Administration. So each year, the NOFO is updated to reflect policy changes both as a program and as an agency. Here's a list of the changes that occurred this year. You can see that we increased the minimum living allowance by $287, eliminated the email of intent, adjusted points in 2 subcategories as part of our new review criteria, in addition to several others. I also want to take a moment to highlight that CNCS has a policy change this year that includes to strongly recommend the use of the 2 NSCHC, that's National Service Criminal History Check vendors. These vendors are TrueScreen and FieldPrint. You can go onto our CNCS website for more information regarding these 2 vendors. All right, so eGrants I've mentioned before, but all applicants must submit applications electronically via eGrants, which is CNCS's web-based application system. CNCS recommends that applicants create an eGrants account and begin the application process at least 3 weeks before the deadline. Applicants should draft the application as a Word document and then copy and paste the text into the appropriate eGrants fields no later than 10 days before the deadline. This helps to make sure that if any issues come up, that you're able to deal with it well ahead of the deadline. The applicant's authorized representative must be the person who actually submits the application. The authorized representative must use his or her own eGrants account to sign and submit the application. A copy of the governing body's authorization for this official representative to sign must be on file in the applicant's office. If you are going through this process and you do hit an issue or a problem when you create an account, prepare, submit the application, all applicants should contact the National Service Hotline, which is 800-1-800-942-2677, or via eGrants questions. I'm going to provide that information again later in the presentation, and it'll be my final screen, so don't worry if you didn't get that jotted down. So here are some important dates. A training and technical assistance call will be held on April 1st at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. The meeting link and phone number are provided on the ASN Tribal NOFO page, which was linked earlier in this presentation. You can find that information at the bottom of that page under the training and technical assistance information. Please do mark down and remember that applications are due Thursday, May 6th, 2020 at 5 p.m. Eastern Time to CNCS. So that's May 6th by 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Depending on the availability of funding, CNCS expects that successful applicants will be notified by July 6, 2020. As promised, here are the links to our applicant resources. Please remember that the notice of the NOFO should be read together with the AmeriCorps regulations, the mandatory supplemental guidance, the application instructions, and the performance measure instructions. All of these documents are available on the 2020 AmeriCorps State National NOFO page, which you can find through our website, www.nationalservice.gov, or following this link that's here on your screen. Please review all of the application materials carefully. You can send any questions that you have about the competition to us at AmeriCorps@cns.gov. So again, I will keep this slide up as I close out. This slide is an additional reminder that all applicants should contact the National Service Hotline. The number is given here, 800-942-2677, or via our eGrants questions, which again, that link is right there for you. If you have a problem when you create an account, prepare, or submit the application. The general public hours for the National Service Hotline are as follows and are listed on the NOFO page. I want to thank you for your time. Definitely remember to tune in if you have additional questions on April 1st, 2 p.m. Again, that's on our NOFO page. You can just click that link and join, or just call in, whatever works best for you. We'll be there to answer any of the questions that might have come up in this presentation. And that's it for us, folks. Thank you and good luck.